the desire to help the community grow and reach those levels. So I want you to please pay close attention to what is going to be presented to you today and take immediate action, because this opportunity will go to whoever is truly prepared. In other words, this is the perfect moment and the perfect opportunity for you to change your thank you. Start changing the way you generate income. Ready? So I welcome you and thank you very much, Juan, for this space.
Greetings, special greetings to everyone who is connected here. Thank you so much for being here. Please confirm if you can hear me. If you're there, give me a wave, a message, anything at all, but everyone is welcome. Thank you all, truly. Thank you so much for your time. And well, let's get right to the point. Greetings. Thank you all. First of all, thank you so much for being here today. Well, I truly want to take a moment to tell you a little bit more about exactly what we are doing and the specific reasons why you should definitely take this incredible opportunity and why you should consider doing it right away. When I first heard about the business model, I thought like BL makes sense. If you haven't heard the song, you have to listen to it. What they're talking about here makes sense, and for me, even more so. I first learned about cryptocurrencies back in 2016, and from that moment on, it was a complete 180-degree change for me. But there's something very important that I want you to understand. To know and not to act is practically the same as not knowing. We are going to make every effort so that you understand the reason why you should be a part of this, okay? We are going to do everything possible so that you can see and understand this business opportunity and why we are so happy. Besides earning very well, which is one of the reasons we're happy, the other and more important one is the transparency with which this business is being developed. And that is super important when it comes to making a decision. While it's true that digital businesses are volatile and ever-changing, here you'll see why you should get started right away. Back in 2020, I heard the word arbitrage for the first time. And arbitrage is earning money from the price difference between one asset and another. And they explained it to me with an example at a currency exchange house, right? It's not the same to buy dollars at a currency exchange in, say, the downtown area of your country as it is to do it, for example, at a currency exchange at the airport, right? Because there is a different supply and demand, and the same thing happens with cryptocurrencies. Today, the cryptocurrency that leads all of this, Bitcoin, is valued at $74,000. We are very happy because we are earning Bitcoin, Ethereum, we are earning USDT, and we are about to show you how we are doing it. This page that I am showing you right now is a website called CoinMarketCap. Here we can see the entire list of cryptocurrencies. And I want you to pay attention to the following, because this page is going to show us the price differences. Do you remember the example I gave you? An exchange bought $1 at one price in one place and at another price in another. Think of these exchanges as companies where I can trade my digital assets, do trading, hold them, stake them, and do many other things with them. Well, it's possible to find the value and a significant price difference. Look, I want you to pay attention to this. There is an asset, a digital currency called Ethereum. Ethereum is the most important currency in the market right now. And on Adbit, which is one of these exchanges, it's priced at $2,351. But the same asset, on Coinbase, it's at $2,363. What's the difference? Let's use an example where it's 8 and 3. That's an $11 difference between one exchange and the other. So right away, we already have a business opportunity here, and it's very simple. I go to Adbit, right? I buy this asset, and then I go to Coinbase and say, you know what? I want to sell it to you at a price of $2,363, and I made $11 profit. How about that business? Just from what I've explained to you, it was already worth connecting. It was really worth it. Tell the person next to you there. It was worth it. Tell your mom who's next to you or your wife. It was worth it just for understanding this. Now, at first glance, it looks like an excellent business, But I want to tell you about the fine print in the contract that no one tells you about, which is that while you're making the purchase and then going to make the sale, there could be a price change. For example, just so you get an idea, today this asset changed in value by 12% in the span of an hour. In other words, it gained 12% in value this morning. Ethereum was around $2,230 and today it's at $2,363. So doing this manually is quite risky, right? Because the variable can change. Sometimes there's no liquidity in the exchanges. Sometimes they don't let you make trades that quickly. Yeah, because that's also part of the business, right? Sometimes they only let you buy with a limit order, meaning you can only buy when it reaches a certain price, and they won't let you sell what you thought was an excellent opportunity. But that's basically crypto arbitrage. That's what I'm telling you about. It's buying an asset where there's a price difference for various reasons. Now, where does the opportunity come from? The opportunity arises when we leverage AI, technology, and people with experience. And that's where an excellent company comes in, a company called Arcor. Look, I'm telling you this from personal experience. For a while, I did crypto arbitrage myself. Do you know what I used to do? I'm going to tell you about the business in case you want to try it. For example, I buy USDT in Colombia. In Colombia, it's cheap. It's affordable and I can buy this USDT at -2, -3. And in the United States, in New York, I can sell it at +3, +4. So the problem isn't buying it in Colombia. I have all the contacts to buy it. The problem isn't transferring it either because it's done digitally. I'm talking about a digital currency that has the same value as the US dollar, but I can get it cheaper in Colombia because there's a lot of supply. And in the United States, it's very hard to get. Thank you. Now, when I sell that currency, what do they give me? They give me dollars. And when I receive the dollars, then what mechanism do I use to move that money? If the plane only lets me move $10,000, it doesn't let me move more. So I have to use bank accounts. And at first they let me, but then it starts to get restricted because it's a business designed for the bank. When the system notices and sees that one way or another you're generating money through movement and transactions, then it starts to question you, starts to limit you, and starts to block you. So Juan, what would be the way to make money with crypto arbitrage? Let me tell you what Mr. Eugenio Levin, the CEO of the company, did. He is from Russia, from one of the Russian-speaking countries, and he created a company registered in Hong Kong. And behind them, there is an incredible infrastructure and technology. I can personally tell you that I have experience doing arbitrage, and I made it a point to learn in detail everything they are doing, and Arcor is basically that. It has an automated system that detects micro price differences. I just showed you a $13 difference, but Arcor earns just a few cents. But in milliseconds, it executes trades not just on one exchange, but on more than 26 exchanges, and not just with one arbitrage strategy, but with more than 7, and not in hours, but in milliseconds. Using servers, using different strategies, and employing an entire system through mathematical algorithms that detect where there is liquidity and where it can take advantage of it. This is not trading. Trading is speculative. Trading is the possibility of applying all your talent, your knowledge, reading and doing fundamental and technical analysis, and well, many other things to see if you get it right in the end. No? This is here there is liquidity and it is constant. This is done by the banks. The banks do this and position themselves close to where the transactions take place. It's not the same to make a transaction right next to the bank, thanks to the Federal Reserve, as it is to do it from kilometers away. If you're in the United States, in London, the price difference in each of these places, in each of these countries, it is measured by the distance in milliseconds. Well, arbitrage is not about finding a price difference. It's about infrastructure, speed, algorithms, and risk management. I was convinced it was just about finding that, a price difference, buying here and selling there. No, this is about doing it with technology. And that's when Arcor says, how do we do it? So that people can see that this is completely transparent and fully auditable. What does auditable mean? That I can verify it. In cryptocurrencies, there's something called the blockchain, which allows you to know everything that's happening up close and from the inside. In banks, when you deposit money, you see it in your account, but you know that money is being moved around. Everyone knows that. But nobody knows what they're doing with it, whether they're lending it out or investing it. Nobody knows that. That's their business. This system is completely transparent. There's no way to alter it because everything is on the blockchain. Everything is recorded. And this makes it completely transparent so that transactions can be seen in real time and are fully available. So, what do you think about what I just told you? Now, how does it work? The possibility of generating profits, but now in a stable way. Because while it's true that we're buying and not doing trading without arbitrage, we need a strategy to be able to generate stable profits, since that's how we'd like to earn. The profits generated use precision technology tools and high-speed systems to detect these price differences. We are neither dependent nor exposed to volatility. I mean, if there's a war tomorrow, which of course we hope doesn't happen, but if it does, it doesn't affect us. We keep earning just the same. It's not like trading. I say this because I lived through the war when it started in Iran, and we really took a hit. We lost a lot. What this allows is for you to earn regardless of any circumstance. Now, a lot of people ask me, well, Juan, but where is the company? Where is it registered? Who are the owners? Who is behind it? The CEO comes out practically 3 to 4 times a week, directly explaining everything. Sometimes I worry because he explains so much that people say, I mean, I don't understand it. It's almost like a language of its own. He's a quant, a financial, mathematical person who is also a programmer. So it's very difficult to understand him sometimes. That's why we're here, where our core demonstrates full, limited, regulated, and authorized responsibility. Every time a transaction is made or executed to your virtual wallet, you receive an invoice. And this is your proof that you are doing a completely legal, transparent business with a commercial contract. Pay close attention because now we're going to look at the business side of things. How are you going to benefit from this? All right? What is Arcor's contractual obligation to you? You will receive a net benefit of 150% on your capital. It's a contract for 150%. Or, if you want to look at it another way, 250% including your capital. Within a period of no more than 3 to 5 months. When we say that, a lot of people say, wait, are you telling me that in 3 months I can recover my capital? And that in the following 3 months I could double it or generate 70%? That's right. The fact that you don't know about this, the fact that you're not aware of it, doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Sometimes we get carried away by the percentages and say, but that's not possible. Yes, it is possible. They do it on the New York Stock Exchange and make millions of dollars. People know it and they play with people's emotions while they're making money. It's no secret to anyone and it's been made public. I don't want to get into politics, but the President of the United States makes millions of dollars every time he moves the market. Sometimes he wants to start a war, sometimes he doesn't, and he's playing with everyone and he makes money from it. So Arcor comes with the possibility of saying to you, I'm going to show you how we're doing it. And obviously, by adding more volume, it generates a benefit for you, but we're also generating a much bigger benefit for ourselves. How are we doing so far, guys? How are we doing so far? Clear, right? Is it clear what we're doing here? Now, what is the benefit that Arcor offers you? Arcor takes advantage of the best opportunities available in the market and tells you, after opening an operating contract, on average, you will generate 1.02 to 1.07% daily. In 1 month, that translates to a 33% monthly return. With the possibility to participate starting from $50 and earning this profit every time you accumulate $10, which are delivered to your virtual wallet. What I just told you is what convinced me. It's what made me like this business because I don't have to wait for profits to be delivered. I don't have to wait for a transaction to be processed. None of that. This comes to me automatically. For those who are already familiar, for people who already know what I'm about to talk about, well, here is a virtual wallet. Let's see if you can hear me. Give me a second, I think. Okay, now. Now, yes, perfect, great. Let's move forward. This is called Binance. This is a bank, a virtual bank where we receive our cryptocurrencies. And I'm going to show you here transactions of $10. Do you remember what I told you? Every time I reach $10, I receive it directly in my bank. Look, $10, $10. But listen, I can also receive Ethereum. I can also receive Solana. I can also receive Bitcoin. How many of you would like to start earning right now? And it went phenomenally well for us, really phenomenal. I'm talking about how I usually earned around 226 in Ethereum, not $26. Today I managed to earn more than $350 thanks to that increase. But let me explain how you can earn with what I just told you. And this is by going directly into your virtual office, okay? So now we're going to get into the details. Don't miss a single second of what I'm saying, because next we're going to show you someone who is getting outstanding results, who started not long ago and is already earning automatically. The first thing you have here is a share in the pools that carry out the operations. In one of the training sessions, I will go into this in more depth, but remember that the CEO is so committed to providing so much information that sometimes it even gets overwhelming, right? Every time you enter our core, a pool opens or you participate in a pool, right? Each pool is $50,000. In the example, we have a $50,000 pool that is being traded between the Mets Exchange and the Gate Exchange. Another $50,000 pool is being traded between HTX and Bidget. Each of these are exchanges that are operating in the market. Bybit and Bitget, Binance and OKEx. A purchase negotiation is entered on one of the exchanges. Here, we go long on one exchange and short on the other. But be careful, this is an arbitrage. It's called lead arbitrage. We use two different currencies and enter both a buy and a sell at the same time. And then someone might say, well, if I go long and short at the same time, I won't make anything, because whatever I gain on the buy, I lose on the sell. So I'm not really doing anything. Remember, there's something called a price difference. In trading terms, this is known as the spread, the price difference generated between one exchange and another. Do you remember how I started the conference? Ethereum at 2,351 on one side and at 2,365 on the other. That price difference is our profit. Okay, now when you register, you will have access to all the information that's here. You'll be able to see each of the transactions in every report. Look, at this moment, at this very moment, transactions have been made. More than $23 million have been transacted and more than 41 have been earned. And it shows each of these transactions in detail. In other words, I can see where the purchase was made and where the sale took place. Let's take a look at a live transaction so you can see it for yourselves. All right? I'm not going to go too much into detail into the technical part, because sometimes it can be overwhelming and you can't grasp the whole topic. But let's see, for example, here. Here we have a purchase of $50,000 and the blockchain opens up for me. Okay? This transaction is being made between USDT and a coin called TON. And here you can see everything that's happening in terms of traceability. Everything, the entire transaction, okay? Still, what do I recommend to you? Nowadays, we have ChatGPT, right? And what did I do? I put all this information in and told it, translate for me, what am I seeing here? And it told me, you're seeing arbitrage that happened between an exchange called KuCoin. And then I sent it the other picture. And I said, look, what about this one? And here the sale of the transaction that was previously a purchase is happening. And the difference is the profit shown within the transaction. And I said, wow, incredible. I mean, it really is happening. It's going on. And all the profits are being credited directly to my back office. It's about 14 hours of operation. Every hour it gets credited as you generate earnings. In my case, I have a stake in the USDT pool of $371. And according to my share in that pool, I receive profits every hour. Every hour I receive profits, okay? Now, at what point does that go to my wallet? When I reach on this side here a total of $10. The moment I reach $10, it goes to my virtual wallet. Do you remember the one I showed you? That $10, they arrive there immediately. Now, if you want to see here, you can view all the transactions that have taken place and everything that's happening directly. Look, for example, here I'm going to show you, for instance, the $10 one. Look, it's this one. And it also shows me the traceability of everything that's happening, where it came from, where it went, and to which wallet. And it happens instantly. That's another thing I've really liked. I mean, I request a withdrawal or it happens automatically because you can set it to automatic and it executes in no time. It's just way, way too good. Now, what's the difference between participating in one or the other? One coin versus the other. The difference lies in the profit. If you participate in the Tether pool, you're generating an average profit of about 1.02%. This is an average. You need to know that it's not always like this. The lowest rate you might receive is 0.76%, which is not bad at all. And the highest rate is 1.36. But why do I have Ethereum? Why do I have more than $9,000 in Ethereum? It's very simple. Because Ethereum pays me 2.23. And how does this work? Where there's more liquidity, more energy is injected. Here, it depends on how much money you have to inject energy into technology and gas fees. This is called an operating expense commission. It's like having money to buy fuel so the car can run much faster, okay? And here you can see all the servers. So these machines, that's also the exercise. Screenshot and I sent it to ChatGPT like, hey, bring this up, find this for me. What is this? This is one of the most powerful machines and servers on the market for arbitrage. And they are located in these countries. And why are they located in those countries? Because that's where the most powerful exchanges are usually located. And the closer you are to the exchange, the more chances you have to win the transaction. That's how it works. It's incredible, isn't it? It's very well structured. I want to know more about the company. So here, founded in 2025, all its records, where the company is located, the leader of quantitative strategies, the person behind the CEO is named Liu Jihao, and he is the one who has created this entire ecosystem. I mean, you have to know that in Hong Kong, China, the Russians are way ahead of us and they have shown us this whole operation. Now, if you ask me and say, Juan, what do you suggest? Where can I start? If you had the possibility and could wait, I would tell you to buy Bitcoin because the minimum participation right now to join Arcor with Bitcoin is about $3,800, which is 0.05 Bitcoin, okay? And you will receive 3.29% daily. So you might say, but I mean, they're going to give me 3.29% practically in 30 days. I break even on my capital. I mean, I recover my capital. And yes, that's how it is, but it's because they know the market trend. Of course, we do arbitrage and we don't depend on trends, but obviously arbitrage allows you to know where there's liquidity and on which exchange, and that way you can inject funds. For example, I'm completely sure because even with the little knowledge we had when we did arbitrage, we did it manually. We knew where there was volume and we would say, look, there's an opportunity here, let's do it. These people who have all the technology to do it, how could they not take advantage of a move like today where Bitcoin went from $72,000 to $74,000? I mean, that's happening and it's taking place now. They also show us how much in total is currently being paid out to the company in commissions. And the statistics are transparent and traceable. Over $35 million paid out, more than 233,000 payments made throughout the community. And in the marketing plan, more than 33 million in profits generated. Let me ask you a question. How much of that pie they're generating right now is going to be yours? Yes, with the little information I've just given you, that's already enough for you to make a decision just to participate. Do you know what the good news is? The good news is that you can participate with just $50. If you have $50, you have an opportunity in your hands. With $50, you deposit, register using the link shared by the person who invited you to this Zoom, sign up with your email, top up, and you're automatically ready. And from that moment on, you start earning profits every hour, not even every day. You earn profits every hour, okay? Up to that point, it's really great. The 250 would be like, the 200 would be 100, and 50 like 125. That's not bad. It's not bad to earn 250% in an average of 5 months. Now, could someone with $50 actually make $1,000 or $2,000? What do you all think? Well, let me tell you how you're going to do it. For that investor who says, hey, this is good, I'm interested, it sounds great, I want to participate, can I put in $1,000? Of course, with $1,000, you go and make a deposit. Now, if you're an investor and you say, I like to put my assets to work, perfect, put in $1,000 in USDT. In Ethereum, put in the minimum, which is 0.5 Ethereum. Right now, that's about $1,340. And in Bitcoin, put in around $3,700. So roughly $4,000, $5,000. With about $6,040, with $6,040, you can build a portfolio, and now you'll be earning Ethereum and Bitcoin while you hold. Holding means waiting for the right time. This is going to go up to 127,000 and 130,000, and you're going to make 250% on this. So you're going to end up with about 5 times 6, 30, 6 times 2, 12, like $15,000. About $15,000 in profit. That's really great. Now, if you're a developer, someone who says, hey, yes, I'm interested. I don't have all that capital, but I would like to know how to earn commissions. Look, I'll tell you that the best business I've ever done, beyond earning cryptocurrencies or being among the first to hear about Bitcoin, being an educated person with a lot of knowledge, the best thing I've been able to develop is my sales technique, being able to communicate an idea. And that's exactly where we're going to train you and teach you through the academy we're creating, the opportunity to join in on this. Pay close attention, because in the next 5 minutes I'll explain this to you, and then your mind is really going to be blown and you'll say, my God, this is what I've been waiting for. The first profit you get is based on your capital. I put in $50 and I leave with $250, and that's perfect. That's fine. But what would happen if I start sharing this opportunity? I share it with some acquaintances, some people who are interested, super cool. Okay, you're going to earn 5% instantly. If someone, for example, puts in $1,000, you make $50 right away, immediately. If they put in $10,000, you made $500. It's just to get you going, to help you improve, but that's not where the real business is. That's nice because you do a job and you get paid for it. The real business is in this little box right here, earning 10% on the profits. When I heard that, I said, this is where the real business is. But when they explained it to me, I said, oh my God, I can really make money here. Look at this. Every person who joins through you will give you 10% of their profits. Let's take the example of someone starting with $10,000. He chooses the USDT pool. This pool pays 1%. On average, he's going to earn $100 a day, right? For how long? More or less for 5 months, right? Which is about how long on average it will generate, let's say 6 months, so we're not being too exact. All right? $100 a day. You are going to receive $10 every day. There are 180 days in 6 months. Over 180 days, you received $1,800. That's 18% of the capital invested by that person. Huh? And you earn it daily. Now, as if what I just told you wasn't enough, there's also the possibility to build leadership. And as I help people achieve that residual income, achieve that commission, there's also a small part that goes to you. And that's a system called a forced matrix. I'm going to try to explain this to you. Pay close attention, because here you only need to invite 2 people. Look, you start here. You are number 1, right? Number 1. And suddenly you invite number 2, and number 2 says, yes, I'm going to participate. I'm interested. I like it. It's cool. I'm going to put in, let's say what? About $1,000 then. Well, you already know you earn 10% of that, right? But now you invite number 3, and 3 says, okay, I'll also put in about $500, just so you can stay with about 5,000, okay? But what happens? In the event that you invite a fourth person, a third person in this case, that person is automatically placed under 2. In other words, you're giving a benefit to 2. There's no other way. So you're generating a benefit, and if you invite 5, you give another benefit to 2. Let me explain it to you another way. I'm telling you that here, we work as a team. Here, it really matters when you make the decision. Look, I'm going to tell you a secret, but let's keep it just between us. A month ago, someone told me about this business. A month ago, listen to me, a month ago. And that person, he's a great friend, and he said to me, Juan, I have this opportunity. I told him, my brother, I know how to do arbitrage. I mean, don't come here telling me, my brother, look at this, all this stuff, this is technology. He says, no, this is just more of the same. He said to me, you know what, Juan? Look, relax, let's do it like in poker. I'll pay to see, do one thing, position yourself. Get into the business, I'll take care of continuing to build. And I said to him, you know what? All right, go for it, because you're a good friend. I'm going to say, all right away. And he started working, and he started working, and he brought in some amazing, incredible leaders. And I said, at that moment, I didn't know anything. Then he said to me, Juan, now the account. And I was like, and what? What happened? Do I already have profit? He told me, no, you're not going to have profit at first, but you already have a community. And when I looked, I said, there's a big community, more than 100 people. I said, wow, incredible. Why? What happened here? I didn't even know the business, thank you. I said to him, now explain to me a little more why people are joining this business. And he starts to explain to me, and I'm like, of course, what you're saying makes perfect sense. And I start working because obviously I'm not going to get paid a single cent for someone else's work. And the work here is to start reaching these ranks. So with my community, I told them, look, here's a business and we have to take full advantage of it. And at that moment, we said, let's do this strategy, bam. And in the first 24 hours, we reached the gold level. What is a gold level and why do you have to reach it? Because when you achieve a deposit of $2,500 and among your referrals, you accumulate $5,000, and listen, you only need to invite 2 people, you have the chance to earn from 896 people. I mean, you're going to earn a 10% residual from 896 people. This is leverage where you're going to start doing some work. Hey, you have to add up. I mean, you have to sell $5,000. You have to inject $2,500 in capital, but you're going to earn 10% from every investment made by each person. Just imagine this. Right now, we have a special rank that is called the diamond level. Today, we achieved a personal deposit of $10,000 and sold $25,000, more or less with about 51 people we have on the team. And today, we can earn from 57,344 people. Here, what really matters is when you make the decision. Look, if you didn't really understand much of what I just told you, it doesn't matter. Look, you know what? Tell your inviter, I'm in for 50. I'll position myself now. Explain later. I'm busy working. Perfect. And you, leader, you keep going. You keep building little by little, little by little. Because later, along the way, from all that sowing you did, you will start to reap the rewards. Look, I want to show you what has happened in the last week. Because basically, I took this business seriously just last week. I mean, I took it seriously. Don't let what is happening to me right now happen to you. Don't just let it happen to you. Let it happen to you even more. Look, in commissions, just commissions. This little number you're seeing here, $97 in commissions, $330 in commissions. These from Ethereum and these from Solana are from the pool. That's what pays me. These are from the pool. These are from the pool. These are commissions, $86, $170. This is what I get paid daily, right? And so on. I can keep showing you results every day. I'm generating these profits with my team. Huh? What do you think? Good or amazing? Look, don't worry about what I'm telling you right now. I want to show you and I want to talk to you. And for this, I'm going to hand it over to Teresa. So you can tell us, you have a guest, right, Terry? You have a guest, you have someone there. Tell us about him and, well, let him tell us and show us a bit of the results because people might think, no, it's only Juan who's earning, right?
No, yes. Hey, Juan, this presentation is so good that I was thinking to myself, I already want to be a part of it. How does it work? Where do I sign? Well, today we have a very special guest, a leader who is also working hard. Are you there, Carlos Cruz? Are you there? Okay, it looks like he's finally here now. Hello, Carlos. Hello.
Hello, good evening. How are you? How have you been?
Very well, we're super excited here, happy with all the people who are joining the room and listening to this information and who want to get results and know, well, how you've achieved your results, how things are going for you. Tell us, please, Carlos.
Well, honestly, let's say it's been a process, right? As Juan said at the beginning, everyone who has joined this business has done so. with a certain shyness, with some distrust, with a bit of fear because of many businesses that maybe haven't left us in a good position in recent years, and that, as we say in Colombia, have really sold us smoke. So let's say that what we do, those of us who have a commercial job, who have extensive experience in this industry, is try to understand that business opportunities are incredibly rare and hard to find, and that each of these opportunities comes with a unique and significant added value that you have to know exactly how to develop, how to properly exploit, and how to fully take advantage of. So basically, my entire professional process involves,
just like that of everyone who has been in this business, has been different. Each person, each member, each leader who joins here has a very different process and a very different experience. I'm going to share my experience with you from, let's say, from my perspective, how I got into this business, how I saw an opportunity here, how I started to build my community and achieve results. Basically, in about a month that I've been in the organization with, let's say, significant results. Well, first I made a small investment. I invested in this business. I started with $500. Basically a positioning account. I positioned myself with $50 at that time because honestly, I was very, let's put it this way, quite distant from everything related to digital businesses and so on. I said, well, let's position ourselves, as Juan said, and let's make a $500 investment to test how it works, what my returns are, what pools exist within the business, and what kind of arbitrage they're doing. And well, basically, what I did was observe. At the moment I started observing, I realized that a phenomenon began, which for me was one of the most important over the last 3 years. I had already experienced it in different businesses, but in this one in particular, something happened and it was an expansion. A massive word of mouth expansion began to take place because the business and the opportunity have something appealing that, in my opinion, is what has generated the most interest among people. So, first, the business creates what I call a daily payout dynamic. What does that mean? It means that on the capital you invest, you will automatically start to see that return within 24 hours. From those returns that the company is currently working with, we're talking about 33% per month, but we're also talking about the fact that depending on the pool you join, you can see daily returns of 1.8, 1.12, 1.22 every single day, which ultimately adds up to 33%. When I saw that, I set up my wallet and started to automatically receive my payments, the payments from my investment. I thought, wow, thank you. I can immediately start to see and have those returns available right away. In other words, it's not a situation where your capital is locked up, so to speak. It's not a situation where you have to wait a while to see if maybe you get a return or not. Here, once you invest, you immediately start to see returns and results within 24 hours. That's how I started. Thank you. I started telling my friends, acquaintances, and people I've worked with in the industry, just casually, very briefly, guys, I'm in on this opportunity. I have this business. It works like this. It's generating these returns for me, okay? And regarding the commercial side, are there any benefits? Of course, there are benefits. If you refer someone, then we're going to pay you 5%. You'll receive 5% from that referral. But beyond that, you'll start receiving 10% of the residual from what they generate. In other words, you'll earn profits from what your people or your referrals generate. Okay. In no time at all, the business started to gain momentum. The first week I had about $18,000 in volume. The second week I already had $35,000. The third week we were at around $52,000, and so on, until in just over a month, about a month and 15 days, a month and 10 days, no more than a month and 10 days. I already have a portfolio of almost $200,000. That is, between my referrals and the referrals of others, there is a volume of $200,000. In fact, just last night, I managed to position myself. I qualified for the gold rank, which makes me very happy because, as Juan said, according to the rank you achieve, you unlock positions and earn from the depth lines that are within your network. In other words, your check will be much bigger as you increase your rank, and the rank increases simply with basic requirements: personal investment, and of course, a team investment, which will obviously yield results and you will benefit from that invested capital. That is to say, what is being sold here is a service. Here, people ask me, what is the product of your business? It's a service that generates a return through synthetic arbitrage, which does share with us the profits generated each day from the investments. So here people have two advantages. One, to start earning a profit through their own investment, right? They can use compound interest. They can use compound interest because those profits, those daily returns they receive can be reinvested. There's a little button in the back office that says automatic reinvestment. And what it does is create a snowball effect that eventually you'll see that in 3 months, you're almost doubling your capital. So it's interesting because investors are looking for significant profits. Investors are interested in those returns. But it's also important because when you build a community, when you have a team, when you have people who are going to be with you, supporting you, managing things, spreading the word, bringing in referrals, it will benefit you as well, but not just you, your whole team. Your team, in other words, my work benefits my direct partners, the people I work with, my leaders, and the work of the leaders benefits the leaders below them. We all end up benefiting both from the work of those above and those below. So I really liked it because it's a community effort, let's call it that, a collective effort, and it's a kind of work where everyone will gain from what they do within the team. That really caught my attention, and when I started to share it that way, my team began to grow. Thank you. Very quickly, it was just a matter of days, really. In fact, I had already met the requirements for gold a long time ago, but I was just missing a personal investment that I needed to make, and I did it recently. Last night, in fact, I managed to do it with the commissions generated by the company itself. There's a bonus. I didn't catch one, if you mentioned it, which is the 2% bonus, a cashback that the company pays you every time you complete $50,000 in your community. Thank you. Keep in mind, it's not just your own work, it's the work of the entire community. And that cashback is meant so that the investment you make to move up in rank is recovered in 4 or 5 minutes, more or less. You put in the capital, and 5 minutes later, the company returns $1,000 to you for every $50,000 within your network. That is, if you have $100,000, then that's $2,000, meaning $1,000 for the first $50,000, $2,000 for the next, and so on. But in order to be able to claim it, you need to have a rank. So every time you qualify for silver, gold, and so on, you will receive a 2% cashback on the total volume of your community. That really blew my mind because the company itself is giving you a bonus, a return on the investment you make to move up in rank. It's the same one. The community from the same business gives you enough to pay for your investment and in addition to generate profits from the entire community as you move up in rank. So that's my experience as such. I'm simply sharing with you how, one way or another, my team started to make progress, the community began to expand, and my team started to grow exponentially, basically because of the 3 advantages this business offers. First, attractive monthly returns of 33% in different pools. In fact, just recently I was talking with one of my leaders, and he tells me that there's a pool within the business that's paying very well, which is the Ethereum one. So there are requirements to enter the pool. I think the minimum investment is the Bitcoin one is about 13 million pesos, more or less. Let's talk in pesos. And the Ethereum one is currently around 0.5 Ethereum. That's about $1,500, more or less. About $1,200 approximately. That pool is paying much more than, say, the WSDT one and others because of the growth of the crypto due to the arbitrage itself that is done. So that return and that dynamic managed in investment for the investor, if you'll pardon the redundancy, is very interesting. But if you do commercial work, if you do word of mouth, because really all you have to do is tell people about the business, here the service being sold is that, a service of returns through arbitrage. When you talk about it, automatically, right? The business becomes much more interesting because now you're not only going to earn from your invested capital, but also from your community, and things start to grow really fast. Believe me, in less time than you think, if Juan managed to do it in a week, which was incredible, a record time for any leader, any networker working in this industry, there are people who, even if they don't achieve it in that time, can see results in 5 days, 10 days, 20 days. It all depends on the pace you want to set for the business. What motivates you to join an organization like this? And what is the reason or the driving force that moves you to be part of Arcor? The revenue. So, if you're an investor, you're going to do very well. If you do word of mouth, talk about the business, and build a community, you'll do even better. But besides that, the ranks are very easy to achieve if you work together responsibly. So that's my experience. I think basically you have to take advantage of these kinds of businesses. It's a young business, and that's one of the advantages this business has. It's a young business that you can really benefit from and have a community, as I said before, with responsibility. So that's my testimony, what I wanted to share with you today. In fact, there are incentives because right now we belong to a community called Unity. And soon, that Unity destination in Punta Cana, Adelaide DuPont, who is a great friend of mine and the one who told me about this opportunity, organized a trip for those who qualified for gold before April 15th. Several people have already qualified and the trip is going to happen. So it's not just about belonging to a business and obtaining capital. It's simply about being part of a movement, a community that will grow and that will work for you for this and other opportunities. So this is my testimony. I wanted to share them with you tonight. Thank you very much, Juan. Thank you all so much for the opportunity and for considering me for tonight's meeting. Thank you so much.
Excellent, Carlos. To you, truly a very special recognition for that great result you achieved. And well, as Carlos mentioned, to conclude, we are now very close to finishing this promotion. But I just want to ask you a small question. How long has it been since you went to Punta Cana? Write to me there in the chat. How long has it been since you were in Punta Cana, please? Yeah? Okay, well, right now there's a chance to do it. And that's by working, yeah? By sharing this opportunity. I share it, I talk to people, and we have the possibility. Look, how about earning money automatically every day for having done a job really well? And on top of that, having this possibility, how about that? How about doing this with people? Not just for the beach, not just for the food, for the hotel, not just for that, but for the training, the coaching that you're going to get. And in fact, right now, we already have some people who have qualified, some people who have already made it. Carlos is among them, of course, who have already achieved it, and you still can too. I mean, you can still be there. I have the list here. There are several people from different countries. Yes, from Colombia, from Argentina, from Ecuador. You can do it, so don't see it as impossible. You know what the best part is. The only thing you have to do is start. Start. Tell the person who invited you and say, hey, share the link with me. They told me there's a big difference between positioning myself from now until Monday or positioning myself right now. Yes, I mean, I want to do it immediately. I have very little. I have $50. I have $100. I want to start. And that's it, which is the best one. And I start connecting with the trainings, with the workshops, and I go all in with full power. A special greeting to everyone who joined. Thank you very much. Thanks to everyone, and look, something you have to do, and I definitely recommend it, is that every step you take it with certainty, with absolute belief that things are going to happen. Once my wife, I'll finish with this, once my wife asked me and said, hey, I've seen you so energetic. I've seen you, like one day she told me, like any friend would, I've seen you getting up early. I've seen you active. And I told her, look, honestly, when I started this business, I'm going fast. I'm going at a fast pace. But when I started this business, I mean, everything started moving much faster. But of course, how could it not? Receiving profits in your wallet every day, accumulating earnings. I mean, anyone would be motivated. I invite you to live this experience with us, and you'll see that the results will be incredible and your life will start to change in a big way. A very special greeting. This is Juan Manuel Jimenez speaking, and I am here to serve you. Take care, and please go ahead and contact the person who invited you. Take care. All the best to you. See you soon. Bye.